joining us through this unique remote meeting situation. So, and also thank you to Scott and Broadleaf from the county for coordinating this. So welcome to the October 2020 meeting. I have no particularly special remarks, so we'll just get moving forward with the agenda. Patsy had forwarded the meeting packet to everyone, so hopefully everyone had an opportunity to review the minutes from the last meeting. If anyone has any comments, please let us know, but otherwise a motion and a second, please, to accept the minutes.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Doctor. All right. All in favor, just thumbs up or yay? All right. I'm seeing thumbs up. All right. So we're good with the June minutes. We've got the next item on the agenda, which is expenditures, which is just simply to review the expenditures. And I'm going to ask Tony if there's any highlights he'd like to share.
The only thing that I would like to point out is if you'll look at the year-to-date budget, you will notice that we have gone over in a couple of line items. One was cleaning supplies. That is due to the COVID pandemic. We have purchased more cleaning supplies than we normally do in an effort to keep the place as sanitized as possible. I did go over in the line item for dues and memberships. That was strictly an error on my behalf during the budget time. I have corrected that for next year's budget. I just was a few $100s short. I just made an error. If you'll look at the line item for radio and communications equipment, that line item went over, but that was actually accounted for lower in the document for purchase of radio equipment, or excuse me, for a purchase of computer equipment, just got moved into the different line item there. And we've also had some unexpected repairs that were necessary to the radio system. We had to purchase a new consolette to correct some VHF paging issues. So that's why those line items have gone over. But overall, budget-wise, we're at 71%. So we're in pretty good shape overall. It's just those particular line items kind of stood out with going over with them.
All right, thank you,
Doug,
Tony.
sorry, took me a minute.
Oh, well, Doug's on the screen as Mike Morrison, so it's not really Mike. He's under a separate cover tonight, or unless.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm on my computer, so that threw me off too. So.
All right. Thank you for joining us, Doug. Doug Barnett is
Thanks,
joining this morning. All right, Tony, thank you for that summary. Does anyone have any questions regarding the expenditures? Okay, since no official approval is required, we'll move on to department matters. And again, I'm going to kick it back to Tony.
I do have on the agenda, it lists an item for action, but I'll go over the information first and then we'll hit that item for action if that's okay.
Sure.
Really, I'm happy to report at this time we have no problem reports have been sent to us for 2020. As for staffing, we currently have 22 fully trained telecommunicators. We have one in training that we project to be out of training by the end of the year. We're experiencing some issues with the state and getting some leads certification done there. But he still has some more training to do as well. But by the end of the year, he should be out on his own. That would put us at 23 out of 24. The other issue is one of our 3 line supervisors has chosen to go back to the floor as a dispatcher. So the good news is we will be at 24 fully trained. The bad news is we will be back down to 2 supervisors. The reason that he gave to me is the same reason that I've received from the last 3 that have done that. And that is the pay for a supervisor isn't enough for him, that they can work a little bit of overtime and not have all of the responsibility and the headaches and make more money. So that's what he gave me the reason, and we're just going to move forward. I put out a notice to see if anybody else was interested. We'll see if we get any information back from any of the telecommunicators to fill that position, and we'll go from there.
Great. Thank you, Tony. Any questions on staffing? All right, thanks. Go ahead, Tony. Sorry.
Home,
That's good.
waiting for it to pass on meds. He about 7 o'clock last.
Doug, you might want to mute. All right, go ahead, Tony.
I included in the packet a brochure for a product called Central Square Field Ops. This is a piece of software that's part of the CAD system that we've been waiting on for quite some time. It's a piece that we can utilize in the field on iPads, any kind of tablet, telephones, and it kind of acts as a mini mobile data terminal. And we see that it could be very beneficial to the units in the field. There were some delays with Central Square because the product that they originally provided didn't really meet our needs. It had to go back to product development and fix some issues before we were ready to accept it. But we do have it now, and we are ready to give it out for testing purposes. So any agency that's interested, just get in touch with Dave Warner, and he'll be able to get you set up. Another reason why I wanted to bring it at the board level was that there's an additional cost licensing fee for each one of those uses in the field, and that's running about $150 per license. So if we get a lot of interest in this, I will be coming back to the board to see how the board would like us to handle it. Would it be a matter of METCOM just covering the cost, or would we turn around and bill the user agencies per license as we do like the Starcom radios? So I just wanted to put that out there for information at this point, and let you know that, you know, if we get a lot of interest, I'll be back to see how the board would like to proceed with that.
All right. Thank you, Tony. I do have one question for you on that. Does METCOM or the county currently use other Central Square software, or is the Central Square, is this particular component going to be reconciled with your existing, you know, with systems? I'm just wondering how that fits.
Central Square is our CAD vendor. That's who we have our CAD with. They were originally Tritech, but they consolidated a couple of years ago, and they're now known as Central Square. So it's part of our entire package for CAD.
All right, thank you. Any questions for Tony on the Central Square Field Ops system? I guess not. All right, good luck with that.
Again, if anybody has interest, just contact Dave. I have no other items for information at this point, but before we move on to the action item of the proposed budget, I'll be happy to answer any questions that anybody might have.
Seeing no questions, I think we're good to move on to the budget discussion. Thanks, Tony.
I presented in the packet our proposed METCOM budget for 2021. Along with that, I did do a short memorandum that kind of listed the highlights of the 2021 budget. I will let you know that we are still in the county's budget process. I am scheduled to present this budget to the Justice Committee later this month for their approval. And other than that, then it would go through the full board once approved by, not only METCOM, but the Justice Committee. What I would like to do is just kind of briefly go over the highlights that I presented. And then if anybody has any questions about any particular line items, I would be glad to cover that if that's okay. The good news is the overall budget, we're looking at a 1.2% in reduction of contribution from the three entities, the town of Normal, McLean County, and the Emergency Telephone System Board. In my eyes, that's always a good thing when I ask less money. So I'm hoping that those entities feel the same about that as well. We had an overall reduction of expenses just a little less than 1%. And that's mostly because we had a decrease, 17.5% decrease in our materials and supplies section, where we had purchased some hardware, monitors, and some chairs in the 2020 budget. Obviously, we won't need those in 2021, so those were taken out, which caused that reduction. As well as in our contractual line items, we purchased radio encryption this year, and we're still slated for cybersecurity for the computer system here, but with the nature of the world at this time, it's slow dealing with a lot of companies to get things done. So that's still slated to happen this year. But we won't have to budget for it next year. And then the final thing that's helped reduce our cost in 2021 is, as you're aware, we have been in the process of moving Frontier out the door. And in doing so, that's saving us a tremendous amount of money, both on the METCOM side and on the ETSB side. So that accounts for our decreases, even countered with our increases in our 4.7% increase in salaries and benefits. That still keeps us well below our expenses from last year. And we also have an increase in our capital line items. It looks pretty high at a 413%, but when you go from a low number to a bigger number, that makes it looks worse than what it really is. But we're essentially looking at two projects there. The first project is we need to replace the two outdoor sheds that we have here at the building. They are both falling apart. They're leaking. They've been here since '97, so they've been through a lot of weather out here. We also use a storage facility down on South Main Street to store some items as well. We feel that if we put a new building for storage here on the property, we can eliminate those two old sheds and also move our documents that we have stored downtown into this building and reduce our monthly cost, or eliminate the monthly cost for that storage as well. The other larger project we're looking at is what we call site hardening. Essentially what that is that puts rolling steel doors and to cover our windows and actual doors here. Not only will that help us during storms, but in our recent civil unrest, our staff here felt extremely vulnerable with what was going on. And I just felt like this might be a good way to help ease their concerns if we experience anything like that again. Whether that'll happen or not, who really knows? But that portion of the project can be done for under $30,000, and I think that would be a good idea to add that to the budget as well. That's the quick recap on what I'm presenting. But if anybody has any specific questions, I'll be more than happy to address those.
Hey, Tony, this is Dustin. In regards to your site hardening proposal, is that approach consistent with other 911 dispatch centers? Are other administrators taking a similar approach?
I have not heard that, and I did not research that. To be quite honest, I wasn't really concerned about how other people are handling it. My concern was for our employees here and the way they felt during that time period. It was very concerning to me to be able to provide them with the ease of mind knowing that they would be safe here. We actually had requested Bloomington give us extra patrols during that time period, but as you know, they're busy too during that time period. So it didn't really, provide the kind of security that we were looking for.
Thank you.
Thank you for that summary on your proposed budget, Tony. Can you give us a quick Reader's Digest version of where you are or where the county is in the budget process and what the next steps are?
Currently, all departments are meeting with their oversight committees. I will meet at the end of October with the Justice Committee. And once all of those have been done, then it will be presented to the full county board, I believe at the November meeting, for the full board approval.
All right, thank you. Does anyone have any questions for Tony on the proposed budget for 2021? All right, Tony, do you need
Can I ask you, Tony, you mentioned about the fact that we have trouble keeping supervisors because the job is not and doesn't give incentive to want to have that type of job compared to getting overtime and regular pay and less responsibility. Is that something that should be discussed now, or something you're not too concerned about?
Well, we've had this issue in the past over the years, and I have discussed it with previous administrations. I think the county is pretty set on their pay grades. I don't know if there's anything that can be done. I have yet to speak with our current county administrator and her staff yet to talk about it. And my plan was, once we got through this budget process and they become a little less busy, I know they're always busy, but a little less busy with budget numbers, we could talk about this and see if there was something we could do. And I think probably another factor that plays into it, but it's never been mentioned to me, is the chance for advancement. Because we're such a small department, the chance for advancement isn't there for these younger folks right now. They don't see me going anywhere, or Lisa or Dave going anywhere in the near future. So they just don't see any chance for them to move up the ladder anytime soon. But yeah, to answer your original question, I do plan to address that with county administration to see if there is any possible way we can make any changes. We'll be okay with 2 supervisors during the time period. We've performed that way in the past. It's not ideal, but we can make sure we get the proper supervision.
All right, thank you for your question, Dr. Griffith. Thanks, Tony. Any other questions pertaining to the budget or the 2021 plan for METCOM? All right, are we good with just a simple vote? We don't have to do any okay, roll call vote. So in regard to the proposed budget, could we have a motion and a second to approve?
I'll motion.
All right, thank you, Dustin. Second?
Second.
All right, thank you, Chief. All right, all in favor, please show me your thumbs up. All right, anyone opposed? Same sign. All right, motion carries. So you have your proposed budget with our thumbs up of approval. Thank you, Tony. Any other items?
Thank
Tony?
you. I have nothing else, but if anybody has any questions, I'll be happy to address them.
All right, seeing none, we will move on. I think the next item on the agenda is me. I would like to say that I really have no report to make. So I'm going to just announce that the next meeting of this group is December 11. It should be on your calendars. We'll look forward to the last meeting of 2020. Does anyone have any other comments just for the good of the order or questions for Tony and staff? All right. With that, then I will check to see if there are any public commenters. Tony, do you know of anyone that's joined the meeting for public comment?
We have no one that's made any request or shown up.
All right, thank you. All right, with that, with no other additional items for discussion, then I guess we'll take a motion and a second to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Thanks, Chief and Chief. All right, all in favor? Thumbs up. We good with adjourning? All right, thanks all. Thanks, Tony and staff. Appreciate it.